have any injuries. Saban. That's a good question. Let me look on Twitter real quick. Mr. Cecil Hurt, excuse me, don't want to be disrespectful. He always seems to be in tune. Jace McClellan had an knee injury. I do remember him leaving, obviously. Initial report, not good. So that may explain why he didn't get a ton of carries. My audio was being weird on CBS today, just for clarity, so I didn't get to hear Danielson and Brad Nessler talk a lot. So if I probably did just miss that. Because the CBS doesn't work on my TV too well, so I have to like Chromecast it. So my audio. It was a little note at the end of the game. Lane Kiffin in his presser noted that Brian Robinson was still in there at the end. I think it might have been a little bit of a shot by Lane, but you could tell he was testy in the pregame when he threw the CBS mic or whatever, and he was just like, "Get your popcorn," which the props, the art and makeup department or art and props department that Alabama has in Bryant Denny is incredible, because the mascot was wearing popcorn after the game, which is hilarious. Hurting, yeah, no, I agree. It's going to take something weird happening, like Bryce Young throwing 3 picks or something stupid, or it's going to take Texas A&M getting a pick 6. Tech fumble return for a touchdown, kickoff. It's weird touchdowns outside of the offense, and it might take multiple. But yeah, no, I don't think the A&M offense is going to put up any sort of, especially after the performance we saw today. And I think part of the reason we saw the performance today, like I've mentioned, is the running game was so dominant, time of possession was so dominant that Matt Corral and that offense just didn't have any time to get into a real rhythm. And I think you could see more of the same, but I don't think you have to, because I don't think anybody's scared of that Texas A&M offense. But just, a dominant performance. We'll hear more about Jace McClellan as time goes on. But hopefully he's okay. But if not, we know Brian Robinson can handle that load and be just a powerful, powerful back. And it was important to keep Jerrion Ealy in check. I mean, against Tulane, 15 carries for 103 yards. He was excellent in that, doing whatever Ole Miss wanted to do offensively. And he's a big piece of that offense, not just in the running game, but in the passing game too. Leave your comments and questions below. You have to excuse my grimacing. I went to a doctor yesterday. Learned I tore some stuff in my hammy, or my quad. Yeah, my hammy. That's the back. I didn't not pass science for a reason. So I'm on some pain meds, and it's not a lot of fun. But what else impressed you about this Alabama game today? I think this was just one of those performances that you see from Alabama where offense, defense, special teams. Okay, sometimes not special teams. But one of those performances that was just dominant. They did whatever they wanted to offensively. They did whatever they wanted defensively up until the end. Of course, Ole Miss scored 3 touchdowns towards the end there to make the score appear closer than it was. But it was just, the performance from Alabama we've been waiting all year for. They were pretty good against Miami. We thought that might be a big performance, but as we've come to find out, Miami's just not that good. If you were here a couple weeks ago when we talked about the Mercer game, we talked about some issues with the offense coming out of that game, especially the run game. Florida game, I think we're just going to learn that Florida's a really good team, guys. I really do. I think we're just going to find out. Florida, depending on what they do in Lexington tonight, I think we're just going to be like, okay, you went on the road in a kid's first start, and you won, and you beat a top 10-ish Florida team. And then against Southern Miss, the run game really got going, and they were dominant, but it's Southern Miss. Like, if you're not dominant, there's probably some bigger issues at hand here. seems inefficient. It's not. It's not. You lose, and I know Jalen Waddle missed a healthy chunk of last year. But you lose him, Najee Harris, Mac Jones, who was very efficient, and the Heisman Trophy winner. No, you're not going to be as explosive. You're going to be younger, and you're going to be less experienced. But here's the thing, too. You have time to gauge this offense. The guy noted earlier, Texas A&M is not putting up 30 against this Crimson Tide team. So you have some time. Are you really that worried about Tennessee? And I know their offense looked great today, but Alabama fans, I don't think, are that worried about Tennessee, LSU, Auburn. There's time to work out the kinks. Because really, it does seem like Jamie Williams is the only big play guy on this offense. Mechie seems more like a possession guy, and he's fine at that. Bama has to clean up their tackling. Yeah, okay. We can talk about the tackling a little bit. First guy missing a lot of tackles. I did notice that a little bit. But what I will say is they did a great job of getting to the ball and bring him down. When you're playing Ole Miss and their longest play, they had one 42-yard gain in the passing game. But other than that, an 18-yard, a 17-yard, that was towards the end of the game. 10 yards was their longest rush. When you're not giving up those big plays against Lane Kiffin and his schemes, that usually means you played pretty good defense and your tackling was okay. I think the defense is getting better. I think it's going to be – you're never – with the way college football is going, you're not going to see many 10-7 games in between two good teams. I know Georgia Clemson was that, but Clemson might not be that good of a team. So center to QB hiking has to get better. Yeah, and that's just one of those things I think with time. Bryce Young's still young. No pun intended. I think everything will be okay with the Crimson Tide as and Georgia are on a collision course. I mean, just look at the big thing. Why did Ole Miss's offense struggle for 3 quarters? Out of that rushing yards, 210 to 78.